How's it going, everybody? We're going to get started in just a minute after I get the YouTube and Twitch streams set up here. I haven't had the chance to edit out this dead air time at the beginning of each of my videos. I wish there was a way to do this a little bit faster or not have to do this every time, but unfortunately, right now, because I'm dual streaming, I don't think there's really a way around it. So thanks for bearing with me. We'll get started with our devotional in just a couple minutes here. All right. Okay. So, let's get the ball rolling. Welcome to our 2021 Advent devotional series. Today is December 15th, which means we will be reading from day 15 of John Piper's Desiring God Christmas devotional. As you know, as I've said, I think in pretty much every video ad nauseum now, that I am not available to stream every day of this devotional. Ideally, I'd love to do that. I just don't have the bandwidth to. So that is why you'll see some days that are skipped. Those are not videos that are just sitting there that haven't been uploaded. They're not, content that's being hidden from you guys. I just don't have those days. Everything you see in the playlist is all that I have. And I'm going to do my best to maximize the number of streams that we have between now and Christmas. Just to give a look at the future schedule, we've got today, we've got tomorrow. I will be off. Actually, we can just pop open the calendar here real quick. So we will be streaming tomorrow. The plan is to stream tonight, tomorrow. So we'll do devotionals 15 and 16. Then I'll be off 17, 18, 19. Then we'll pick up again with 20. And I think we should be able to do 20 through 23 next week. Barring any personal issues that come up, I think 20 through 23 we should be able to do. I will not be available 24th. I'll be spending that time with family. And I usually don't stream on Fridays anyway. So 20 through 23 I'm planning to do. So it looks like, including tonight, we should have 6 more devotionals together, which, while not every day is a solid chunk, and I really hope that we can really squeeze every bit of value out of the time that we spend together. So let's go ahead and dive right into day 15. The title of today's devotional is called Life and Death at Christmas. So let's spend a little bit of time kind of understanding why that is. But before we do that, let's read our text, our scripture text for the night. That comes from John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they might have life and have it abundantly. The I there referring to Christ. So, day 15, life and death at Christmas. As I was about to begin this devotional, I received word that Marion Newstrom had just died. Marion and her husband, Elmer, had been part of our church longer than most of our members had been alive at the time. She was 87. They had been married 64 years. When I spoke to Elmer and told him I wanted him to be strong in the Lord and not give up on life, he said, "He has been a true friend." I pray that all Christians will be able to say that at the end of life. Christ has been a true friend. Each Advent, I mark the anniversary of my mother's death. She was cut off in her 56th year in a bus accident in Israel. It was December 16th, 1974. Those events are incredibly real to me even today. If I allow myself, I can easily come to tears. For example, thinking that my sons never knew her. We buried her the day after Christmas. What a precious Christmas it was. Many of you will feel your loss this Christmas more pointedly than before. Don't block it out. Let it come. Feel it. What is love for, if not to intensify our affections, both in life and in death? But oh, do not be bitter. It is tragically self-destructive to be bitter. Jesus came at Christmas that we might have eternal life. Referencing back to the text that we read at the beginning, John 10:10, Jesus said, "I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." Elmer and Marion had discussed where they would spend their final years. Elmer said, "Marion and I agreed that our final home would be with the Lord." Do you feel restless for home? I have family coming home for the holidays. It feels good. I think the bottom line reason for why it feels good is that they and I are destined in the depths of our being for an ultimate homecoming. All other homecomings are foretastes, and foretastes are good, unless they become substitutes. Oh, don't let all the sweet things of this season become substitutes of the final, great, all-satisfying sweetness. Let every loss and every delight send your hearts a-homing after heaven. Christmas, what is it but this? I came that they may have life. Marion Newstrom, Ruth Piper, who's his wife, and you and I, that we might have life now and forever. Make your now richer and deeper this Christmas by drinking at the fountain of forever. It is so near. Okay, so this one's a little bit more emotional. There's some a couple of heavy stories in here, deaths of a couple of loved ones, and in both cases, there's joy ultimately in knowing that both of the people that passed away in his comments, both the wife of his friend from church as well as his mother, both went home to be with the Lord when they passed away. So there's a sense in which there's this, I think he's trying to build this sort of this dichotomy of the death, which is surely something to be grieved, and there is a sadness that the person that you love, that is so close to you, that you cherish, has left you. You can no longer be with them, encounter them, talk to them. But you know at the same time And this is the other side of the dichotomy, that they're with Christ and that they are experiencing far deeper joy than they ever did here on earth. So you can celebrate and be happy for them that is the case. So I think that drives right into Piper's main point today, which is Jesus' line that I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. Christmas time is a time for us to celebrate the birth of Christ, to celebrate the final reality, which we've been talking about for a couple of devotionals now, of the final reality that is Christ's sacrifice, once for all sacrifice, and his sitting at the right hand of God, advocating for us constantly. Christ does not only free us from sin, but he gives us everlasting peace, joy, and life. And that's what he says that's what he means when he says, I came that they may have life. He doesn't just stop there. He doesn't just say, I came that they may have life. He doesn't just say, I came so that they wouldn't be punished. He says, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. Christ wants us to experience the joy that comes from knowing him. He desperately wants that for us, and that is why he chose to sacrifice for us. So there's two main points that I want to make, and a little bit of this is actually, I guess I'll be sharing a little bit about kind of my experience with Christmas the last couple of years, and I hope that you'll feel like it connects with the content from tonight, and that it'll be edifying for you. That'll come in the second point. The first point that I wanted to make is that there are, for every one of us, there are things about Christmas which may bring joy, and there are things about Christmas which may bring a sense of sadness or anger or loss. And ultimately, that just comes down to our own personal lives, what we've experienced, and the dates that things have happened during, if things happen to occur during the holiday season in your life that brought about a great sense of joy or a great loss, like the examples in this devotional. And what he is encouraging us to do, he being John Piper, is encouraging us to do, is to allow ourselves to experience that. There's absolutely no point in us trying to block out the reality of how we feel and what we've experienced that has helped to shape who we are now, just because it's Christmas, just because we want to have this sense that like Christmas needs to be only joyful and only happy. That's not the case. And that may not be the case for you or many other people. For some people, Christmas is predominantly a sad time in their life. They may have had a loved one that passed away, and that might bring tears every year to their eyes because they are thinking about and reminiscing someone that they love that's no longer with them. Or maybe there was something that happened in your life that was really hurtful around Christmas time, and maybe you never fully healed from that. So there's a lot of reasons why Christmas may just happen to be, the month of December, may just happen to be a tough month, a hard, emotional month for you. And if that happens to be the case, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't count out, don't try to block that just so that you can put on that happy Christmas face for family, friends, or even for yourself. So that's my first encouragement, is whether this is a season of sadness, anger, loss, or a season of joy, excitement, anticipation, happiness, don't fake anything. Just allow yourself to experience and feel the way that you feel. But I don't say that in a vacuum. The reason that Piper is suggesting this, and I concur with what he's suggesting, is because allowing ourselves to feel that reality is going to allow us to be pointed towards, it's going to push us towards a deeper appreciation of who Christ is and what he's done. This line here that he has is really important. It says, "What is love for if not to intensify our affections both in life and in death?" If we allow ourselves to experience those extreme emotions and feelings during the Christmas season, that will only serve to put us in tune with what it means to love and appreciate the people around us, or at least to understand the hurt that we have. And it will put us in a place where we are vulnerable and prepared to accept who Christ is and what he's done. For those of us that have experienced loss during this time, or sadness or anger, it is very likely that the hope of Christ is going to be our shining beacon. If we experience already, if this is a season of joy and thanksgiving and happiness for us, then the Christmas story, Christ himself, only serves to amplify those experiences and feelings. So either way, Christ is a beacon for whichever end of the spectrum that you're on. And ultimately, what Piper's trying to protect you against is a sense of bitterness. If this is a season of loss, don't avoid the bitterness. That's the one thing that will ruin any opportunity to focus on the joy that Christ wants you to experience, the life that he wants you to live abundantly. So that's the dichotomy that we may find ourselves in. We will find ourselves in somewhere on the spectrum. And I want to encourage you guys in that way to just experience, just let yourself feel the way that you feel during this Christmas season. And let God work through that, and let him point you to Christ. So the second point I want to make, and this is really, to be fair, kind of peripherally related to what Piper's saying, more directly related to this part that he has here at the end, towards the end, where he talks about visiting friends and family during the holidays and explaining the reason for why that feels good, and says that all other homecomings are foretastes, and foretastes are good unless they become substitutes. Don't let all the sweet things of this season become substitutes of the final, great, all-satisfying sweetness. So while his focus is on people and relationships and seeing family, for some of us, and for myself, Christmas has been, at least for many years for me, been a season where the events, the traditions, the activities, and the sentiment around Christmas, and when I say sentiment, I more mean kind of the secular environment that we find ourselves in with Christmas trees and gifts and all that stuff, that all those things have worked up and built themselves up in my mind and in my heart over time to kind of take on an identity that is far greater than they ever should have been. And when John Piper talks about these things becoming a substitute, that's exactly what they've become for me. Things that could be sweet, a Christmas tree, a gift to someone, or receiving a gift from someone, baking cookies, or spending time with family on Christmas Eve. These traditions that I've had for many years have become almost like they've replaced the identity of Christmas, and my ability to feel joy and appreciation and happiness and to be satisfied by the Christmas season is tied up in those things. The identity of Christmas for me has become about those things rather than about the nativity, rather than about Christ as the final reality, rather than about Christ's death and resurrection. And so for obvious reasons, when any one of those activities doesn't go well or doesn't meet up to my arbitrary expectations, I will get disappointed. And when I get disappointed, I walk away from the Christmas season just thinking, man, I'm glad it's the New Year. I can leave that Christmas behind because that Christmas was lame. And frankly, even though there's been a lot of blessings the last few years in terms of family, my son was born a couple of years ago. I've had, wonderful experiences throughout the Christmas season. There's still many things that have been disappointing, and overall, Christmas has been somewhat disappointing for me the last few years. Just in all frankness, it has been. And so the reason that it's been that way is because I've allowed the sweet things, as Piper talks about, the sweet things of this season to become substitutes for the final great all-satisfying sweetness of Christ. So my resolution for this Christmas was to do two things. First was to break this chain that I just talked about of the Christmas peripherals, if you will, being at the center of what Christmas is for me, and replacing that with what the true center should be, which is Christ. And I will say that doing this devotional with you guys, doing it every single day with myself and my family, has greatly helped in just centering me around what Christmas is all about. Honestly, it's gotten to the point where I need the Charlie Brown reminder. When I think it's, who's the guy with the blanket? Is that Linus? I don't remember. I don't remember who that is. The one with the blanket that tells the story of Christmas to Charlie Brown in the Charlie Brown Christmas movie. It's gotten so bare bones and so bad for me that that's kind of what I needed, was just to say, let's clear out all the clutter and just lay bare the Christmas story and just focus on that. Streamline it all down to that. So this devotional has been huge in helping me do that. My second goal, so that's my first goal, was to clear the distractions and focus on the nativity. The second is to build a sense of anticipation and excitement within the home, to make Christmas, the real Christmas, be a greater focus in my home with my wife and my son. And I haven't been perfect at that. Some days have been definitely more exciting, if you will, anticipation building than others. But overall, a heck of a lot better than last year was, I think. And I think if you were to ask my wife, I think she'd agree with that. Because my son is getting to be the age now, he's 2.5, he's going to be 3 in April. He's getting to be the age where he can start picking up on some of the things, right? When I read the devotional, he knows I'm doing the devotional. He'll say, "Daddy, are you going to read the devotional tonight?" And he knows that Christmas is Jesus' birthday, right? He's starting to pick up on some of these concepts. And as those things, as his mind grows and as God works in him on a spiritual level, he's going to start seeing and discerning these things more as he gets older. And as his father, I want to be there to instill a sense of meaning and uh, instill a sense of meaning is not the right phrase. I mean to uh, help convey the meaning of Christmas and to build a sense of joy and excitement for him. I want to be a catalyst of the Spirit doing that for my son. So, and for my wife, of course. So those are really the two things that I wanted to extract from the devotional today. And there's lots more that we could, of course, talk about. But in the interest of keeping this to about half an hour, I want to probably go ahead and stop there for the night. As always, when we do these devotionals, or most nights when we do these devotionals, I will be playing a game after this. So stick around on either Twitch or YouTube, your channel of choice, your platform of choice, I should say. This should be your channel of choice. Stick around on your platform of choice if you want to participate in the game time, which will also be an opportunity to discuss what we talked about tonight. If you have any questions or thoughts, I'm happy to engage with them while we play. But I am going to cut the YouTube video right now so that this can be a kind of a clean-cut, organized piece of content for those that want to listen in the playlist later. Listen and watch in the playlist later. And then we will restart the YouTube stream just after this to dive into our gameplay segment for the night. I will still be on Twitch. I'm not going to turn off the Twitch stream, so if you're on Twitch, stick with us. We're just going to be unplugging a couple cables and plugging into the Switch to play our game tonight. If you're on YouTube, you're going to see the stream go dark for about a minute. Hold on, refresh a couple times. I will be back, and we will be online with our game in just a couple of minutes. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. Go ahead and read this devotional again tonight if you can. And I look forward to reading day 16, December 16th with you tomorrow. I hope everybody has a wonderful night, a night's rest, a beautiful day tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow night. Take care and God bless.